YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, the father of undefeated two-time heavyweight world champion British superstar boxer Tyson the Gypsy King Fury, his father, a former fighter himself, Big John Fury, he gave his reaction and thoughts on the fact that Tyson Fury has tested positive and will not be able to resume and face off in the Trilogy match against Olympic bronze medalist, former WBC American heavyweight world champion, superstar boxer Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder in 2 short weeks, July 24th. It has been postponed. Not only Tyson Fury, but 9 to 10 other members in Tyson Fury's camp, according to reports, have tested positive as well. With that said, Big John Fury, he has an interesting reaction to the fight not proceeding. Big John Fury, the first thing he states is, I told everybody and I told all the fans, don't buy any tickets until you actually see them in the ring face to face. He says Deontay Wilder was clever in the way he maneuvered to get this Trilogy fight. Now, right there, I want to stop those two things right there. The fact that he said Deontay Wilder was clever. Deontay Wilder wasn't clever in his approach to get the Trilogy match. Deontay Wilder was contractually obligated. Your son, Big John Fury, he agreed to a 3-fight deal with Deontay Wilder. At the very least, after the first fight, he agreed to a 2-fight deal with Deontay Wilder. Okay? Tyson Fury, he was admitting and stating, when asked about future fights with his fellow countrymen, 2-time unified heavyweight world champion, British superstar boxer Anthony Joshua, he stated in the lead up and the build up to Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury 2, the highly anticipated second fight, Tyson Fury, he responded by saying, me and Deontay Wilder are going to have to square off for a 3rd time. Okay, we're going to have to square off and do this for a 3rd time. Anthony Joshua's going to have to sit on the sidelines because he had his opportunity to fight Deontay Wilder and he avoided Deontay Wilder. This is what Tyson Fury had to say regarding a possible fight. Should he beat Deontay Wilder? This is ahead of the second fight. Should he beat Deontay Wilder or should Deontay Wilder beat him? He says that we have to do it a 3rd time. Now, after the 3rd time, now we could talk about a possible undisputed showdown with Anthony Joshua, but he had his opportunity to dance with Deontay Wilder and he chose not to. So that means Tyson Fury was well aware that he had this Trilogy match already set in place, win, lose, or draw in the second fight. So the fact that Big John Fury, his father, is saying that Deontay Wilder cleverly maneuvered his way into a Trilogy match is completely false, and it just lets you know that they have or had no intentions of fighting Deontay Wilder in a Trilogy match, although they contractually agreed to have a Trilogy match. Tyson Fury has never successfully or attempted to, or dare I say, fulfilled to defend his titles. He rescheduled his fight with Vladimir Klitschko after beating Vladimir Klitschko to defend the titles. He never successfully did it. He claimed an ankle injury, then he claimed other health issues, and so therefore he never fulfilled the obligation to give Vladimir Klitschko an opportunity to fight for his belts back. Tyson Fury then, according to UKAD, United Kingdom Anti-Doping Agency, tested positive. He was suspended, and then he ended up vacating the belts and going on a 3-year hiatus. So with that said, Tyson Fury has never, you can't count on Tyson Fury to commit to anything. You have to see Tyson Fury in the ring. I think that's what Big John Fury's alluding to, because Deontay Wilder, when he says he was going to do something, he does it. When Tyson Fury says he's going to do something, you never know. So you have to see Tyson Fury actually in the ring. So with that said, even the second fight, now, this gets forgotten, this gets swept under the rug. After the first fight ended in a draw, December of, was 2019 or 2018, the first fight, okay? After that fight ended in a draw, they had an agreement to have an immediate rematch. Tyson Fury, at the negotiation table, decided to do about face Okay, according to reports, they had a deal on the table for a 50-50 split. Tyson Fury would get 50-50, Deontay Wilder would get 50-50 for an immediate rematch of the first fight. Well, Tyson Fury then pulled away from the table, decided to, out the blue, sign with legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO and promoter, Bob Arum, the network ESPN, and cause a divide. Because remember, Tyson Fury, he was with Queensberry Promotions, legendary promoter, CEO in the UK, United Kingdom, Frank Warren and Queensberry Promotions. So they were working with PBC, Premier Boxing Champions, founder and advisor Al Heyman, and Shelly Finkel, Deontay Wilder's manager, to when they negotiated the first fight. Okay, so the fact that he decided to abruptly sign with a promoter and a whole different network, it caused a divide. Okay, now you have to deal with splitting, shares. You have to do joint promotions and things of that nature. This is what Tyson Fury introduced into their already agreement. Okay, and then he decided to sign on and have 2 interim fights before going into the rematch with Deontay Wilder. That's when he fought Otto Wallin and Tom Schwartz. Okay, that's when he fought Otto Wallin and Tom Schwartz. Okay, that was abrupt. That wasn't planned. They had all plans to face off against Tyson Fury in the immediate rematch. He decided at the last second to make a change. Okay, thus saw Deontay Wilder face off against his mandatory challenger in Dominic Brazil, and then a rematch with Luis King Kong Ortiz. Okay, because Tyson Fury decided to go in a different direction. Now we know this trilogy match was contractually obligated. So when Big John Fury says that Tyson Fury was essentially duped into having to face Deontay Wilder in a trilogy because he wanted his son to face fellow countryman Anthony Joshua now Deontay Wilder cleverly maneuvered his way into a trilogy match. No, he didn't. He just received what he was contractually obligated to receive. Point blank and period. Okay? So with that said, now Tyson Fury, according to reports, have tested positive. So we should just be privy to the test, the results, right? Because 24 hours or less than 24 hours before we got this news, Tyson Fury was doing interviews and seemed just fine. Not to say that he has to be coughing and, with a fever and things of that nature, but, he was doing interviews, and ironically in the interview, he says he's trying to stay healthy, stay injury-free, and avoid, of all things, any viruses. This is what he had to say. Okay? And he gestured his eyes like, he did a gesture, that's the ultimate. Okay? So, with that said, for Tyson Fury, he's never defended the titles, and this is nothing surprising, okay, on the part of Tyson Fury. Now they're pushing back the date to October 9th, okay? With that said, Tyson Fury never truly wanted this trilogy match with Deontay Wilder, and I believe it's a high-risk fight, and I believe they understand the risk that they're up against, and they don't want to lose the opportunity to fight Anthony Joshua for undisputed, fellow countryman, okay? I believe Tyson Fury needed more time. We should be privy to the information. They should show the people why. Why should they have to show their personal information? I'll tell you why. Because there's thousands upon millions of dollars and of that fans have paid for, okay, to get tickets, to get airplane travel fees, hotel fees, tickets, and things of that nature that suddenly you lose. I myself took a loss, right? I myself have lost now upwards of $300. And that's good because, of my situation, but, I have a unique situation, but that's a minor loss. There's people that lost thousands upon thousands of dollars, okay, of their hard-earned 9-to-5 money. Therefore, you should have to show proof that this is legit. That this is legit. because people can't get their money back. You can't recoup it. And now you're asking people to do it all over again. So people are going to take a loss and then turn around and come and attempt to come again in October. And you have Big John Fury saying, don't buy tickets until you see them face to face in the ring. Big John Fury is saying, don't buy tickets until you actually see them face to face in the ring. Well, that speaks volumes because, again, the fact that he says, Deontay Wilder cleverly maneuvered his way into the Trilogy match, and the fact that he's saying, he felt Deontay Wilder fight should have never happened. He felt his son, Tyson Fury, should have vacated the belt to begin with and allowed Deontay Wilder to pick up the belt and just go ahead and push forward with a fight with fellow countryman Anthony Joshua. That's what Big John Fury had to say. He says that, that Tyson Fury, he wanted his son because he wasn't prepared. He wasn't focused on fighting Deontay Wilder. He was focused on facing Anthony Joshua. It's completely two different styles. And so, therefore, he feels that Tyson Fury should just vacate the belt, move on, and fight Deontay Wilder down the line for undisputed should he beat Anthony Joshua for the unified belts. As Anthony Joshua holds the WBA, WBO, IBF, and the Ring Magazine belts, obviously. So he wanted Tyson Fury to take no parts in this Trilogy match. So is it surprising that he's telling the fans that don't buy tickets until you see them actually face to face in the ring? And then he caught himself, right? And he says, well, I'm saying that because this is boxing. Well, we know this is boxing and anything can happen. But he had to make an adjustment to what he was saying. That's the reason why he said, well, I'm just saying this is boxing, so anything can happen. So that's why I'm telling the fans they shouldn't have bought tickets until you see them in the ring. Well, if that's the case, nobody will buy tickets to any fight, if that's the case. Because you never know what takes place. Actually, you don't know what tomorrow holds for anybody, yet alone what takes place in the sport of boxing. So he's right when he says that, but no, that's not what he meant. He meant that Tyson Fury, who we knew was contractually obligated to give Deontay Wilder a Trilogy match, was trying to maneuver around the Trilogy match, and the judge ruled in Deontay Wilder's favor, shockingly to them, and they were attempting to do whatever it took to not have to honor the contract and face Deontay Wilder. And so that's why he was telling the fans, don't buy any tickets until you see them in the ring, because you didn't have any plans for your son to be in the ring to face Deontay Wilder. So October 9th seems to be the date. I believe that Tyson Fury, as Big John Fury stated, he was not focused on Deontay Wilder. He was not focused on this Trilogy match and what Deontay Wilder brings to the table. Tyson Fury, he let you know that he too is paying very close attention to Deontay Wilder's adjustments. The fact that Deontay Wilder has a new trainer. Big John Fury also stated, remember, Big John Fury also stated, this is a very risky fight because Deontay Wilder can be a completely revamped and completely different fighter going into this Trilogy match, and Tyson Fury is not prepared for that. Remember, that's out of the words of Big John Fury. But obviously, he had to state and back Tyson Fury and say, well, I believe Deontay Wilder, whenever the fight does take place, is going to lose badly because, Tyson Fury is just a better fighter and so on and so forth. Obviously, he has to say that. But nonetheless, we got to see how this plays out. October 9th seems to be the date that they're looking at to secure, still in Las Vegas, still at the T-Mobile Arena. So we got to see how everything unfolds and plays out. But it's not surprising Big John Fury says nobody should buy tickets until you actually see them face-to-face in the ring, because they never intended to have this fight to begin with. But that's all I got for y'all, man. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Hey, this is Ebony Bridges, Blonde Bomber, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.